Dear child, you did not arrive here by accident. Life has a quiet way of guiding us to exactly what we need when our heart is ready to receive it. This message comes to you now because something important has been unfolding beneath the surface, and your soul has been asking for clarity. There is someone you care about deeply. Their presence has been returning to your thoughts again and again, even when you are not trying to think about them. You may notice their name coming to you while you are busy, while you are driving, while you are working, or in those quiet moments before sleep. This is not random. This is not imagination. This is energy moving between two hearts. Something has been happening beyond what you can see, and today you are being invited to understand it with calm, trust, and peace instead of fear. This person has spoken about you, not casually, not carelessly, not in a way meant to dismiss you. It was not gossip, and it was not shallow conversation. It was slow, thoughtful, and filled with emotion they struggled to express. There were pauses. There were moments where words felt hard to find. When your name was said, it carried weight. It carried meaning. It carried feeling that could not be hidden. They spoke carefully because what they felt was real. When someone truly cares, they do not always know how to approach the person directly. Sometimes the feelings are too strong. Sometimes they feel confused by how deeply they are affected. Sometimes fear steps in before courage does. So instead of coming forward immediately, they speak to someone they trust. They need to hear their thoughts out loud before they can understand them. They need space to sort through emotions that feel overwhelming. That is what happened here. They spoke about you because you have been on their mind far more than they ever expected. You changed something inside them. Your presence touched a part of their heart they were not prepared for. Even when they try to focus on other things, even when they try to stay busy, even when they attempt to distract themselves, your energy returns quietly. It does not force itself. It simply remains. Ignoring you has stopped working because the connection has already taken root. What they talked about was not surface level. It was not about appearances or status or everyday details. It was about how you made them feel. It was about how you listened in a way that felt different, how your words stayed with them long after conversations ended, how your presence felt calm and safe, and most of all, how your absence now feels heavier than they expected. These realizations surprised them. They questioned themselves honestly. They wondered why they think of you so often, why the connection feels unfinished, why it affected them so deeply. The person listening noticed the shift in their voice, the emotion in their eyes, the change in their energy when your name came up. Real feelings do not announce themselves loudly. They show up in subtle ways that cannot be faked. This does not mean everything is settled yet. It does not mean immediate action or perfect clarity, but it does mean something important. The connection was real. You were not imagining it. You were not wrong for feeling what you felt. You mattered. You left a mark that did not disappear when things went quiet. You touched their inner world in a lasting way. People do not open their hearts unless something inside them is unsettled. People do not search for answers unless something is pulling them from within. You became that pull. You became the question their heart could not ignore. They spoke about how different it felt with you, how safe it felt, how natural it felt. They may not have named the feeling directly, but it lived in the silence between their words. Sometimes the deepest emotions are the hardest to name because naming them makes them real. They also admitted fear: fear of timing, fear of vulnerability, fear of making mistakes, fear of repeating old patterns. They admitted that staying silent felt easier than risking honesty. Pretending not to care felt safer than admitting how deeply they did. This is not weakness. It is someone learning how to face emotions they were never taught how to handle. You are meant to hear this not so you will wait in pain, chase answers, or force a response. You are meant to hear it so you can understand. Understanding brings peace. Understanding lifts the weight of self-doubt. Understanding reminds you that silence does not always mean absence of feeling. Sometimes silence means someone is processing something real and heavy. You are not forgotten. You are not dismissed. You are being thought about carefully. There is a difference between someone who ignores you because they do not care and someone who goes quiet because they are trying to understand what you truly mean to them. They remembered small moments with you that now feel important. A look, a laugh, a simple conversation, a moment of kindness. These memories stayed with them because what they felt was not temporary. This message is not here to create unrealistic expectations. It is here to restore balance in your heart. Your worth does not depend on quick replies or perfect words from another person. You showed up honestly. You cared sincerely. You did not manipulate or force. You gave freely. That kind of energy always leaves an imprint, even if it takes time to show itself. After that conversation, they became quieter, not because they stopped caring, but because they began reflecting more deeply. Silence is not always distance. Sometimes it is deep thought. They replayed moments with you, especially the calm ones. Saying your name out loud made the connection real. It became harder to pretend it meant nothing. They noticed how they defended you without realizing it, how they explained your intentions, how they spoke with care. People protect what they value. They question themselves further. Why do you appear in their thoughts unexpectedly? Why does your absence feel noticeable? Why does something feel unfinished? These questions are signs of awakening. They began noticing reminders of you around them: songs, words, moments, memories. These are not accidents. They are reflections of unresolved emotion asking for attention. They also began comparing energies. Many connections in their life felt loud but empty, fast but shallow. And then there was you, quiet but deep, gentle but lasting. This contrast stayed with them. It made them question what they truly want and what kind of connection feels real to them now. There was inner conflict. One part of them wanted to move forward carefully. Another part wanted to stay where things felt familiar. Familiar does not always mean healthy. Sometimes it just means known. Choosing something new, even when it feels right, can be frightening. They remembered how you gave space without closing your heart, how you respected boundaries without withdrawing love. That maturity stood out. There was quiet regret, not dramatic regret, but soft realization. Regret for not being clearer. Regret for staying silent when honesty would have been kinder. They admitted that distractions did not erase feelings and that pushing emotions away only worked temporarily. Your presence set a standard inside them that could not be lowered. You did not lose your place in their life. You changed it. Even if the path forward is still unfolding. The inner shift has already happened. Your absence now feels different to them. It feels noticeable, like something meaningful is missing. They are learning that real connection is not about constant communication. It is about resonance. And you resonated with them in a way that did not fade. They are also questioning their readiness, whether they can meet you where you are, whether they can offer consistency instead of confusion. These questions are not rejection, they are responsibility. A person who asks them is not playing games, they are being honest with themselves. So now, the most important thing for you is to remain grounded, stay peaceful, stay true to who you are. Do not abandon your worth because the process feels slow. Do not chase clarity at the cost of your inner peace. Stay open, but not anxious. Stay hopeful, but not attached to a specific outcome. What is meant for you will not require you to lose yourself. What is real will find its way without force. If doubt enters your heart, release it gently. Doubt comes from not seeing the full picture. You are seeing the surface, while deeper understanding is forming beneath it. Hold your peace, guard your heart, keep your spirit light, continue growing and healing. Remember this truth deeply within you. You mattered enough to change someone's inner world. You mattered enough to be spoken of with honesty and emotion. You mattered enough to create reflection, awareness, and inner transformation. That is not small. That is real. And when the time is right, more will be revealed naturally. My beloved soul, let this settle deeply within you. You are not being compared to anyone else, and you are not being measured against another person's timing, choices, or presence. You are being understood in your own space, exactly as you are. That space you carry, your calm, your honesty, your depth, your steadiness, is being felt and respected far more than you realize, even if no one is speaking about it yet. Nothing about you has been overlooked. Nothing about what you shared has been dismissed. You are not forgotten, and you were never insignificant in this connection. What is happening right now is not absence, it is integration. They are slowly absorbing what you represented in their life and what you awakened in them about what they truly want and what they are no longer willing to settle for. This kind of realization cannot be rushed. It cannot be forced into quick decisions or immediate action. It has to be lived through, felt, and understood at the soul level. When something is real, it does not vanish quietly. Real connections do not dissolve just because things become silent. They move inward. They mature. They wait until they can be held properly. In this phase, your energy matters more than anything else. Not your overthinking, not your need for reassurance, not your urge to interpret every pause. Your energy. Stay calm. Stay centered. Stay grounded in who you are. Do not shrink yourself just to be chosen. Do not make yourself smaller to fit into someone else's comfort or fear. Do not question your worth simply because clarity is taking time. Some clarity takes longer because it involves growth, responsibility, and emotional courage. What is meant to connect deeply does not disappear. It waits until it can be honored. You were real. You were sincere. You were emotionally present. You showed up with truth, not games, not masks, not manipulation. You offered something genuine, and that matters more than you know. This part of the journey is asking you to trust, not blindly, but wisely. Trust timing, trust growth, trust what you felt, trust yourself. Stay steady because what is unfolding is not empty, even when it is quiet. Silence does not mean nothing is happening. Silence often means something important is taking shape beneath the surface. As time moved forward, something shifted inside them. The confusion did not disappear all at once, but it began to settle into a deeper awareness of what truly matters. Not surface level excitement, not temporary distraction, not comfort born out of loneliness. What they felt with you was recognition. Recognition is quiet but powerful. It feels like familiarity without history. It feels like being understood without needing explanations. It feels safe. With you, they did not feel the need to perform or pretend. They could be themselves. They could sit in silence without discomfort. They could relax. Emotional safety like that is rare, and once someone experiences it, it changes them. There were moments when your memory passed through their mind unexpectedly, bringing a soft smile, not longing, not pain, but warmth. That warmth matters. It means the connection brought peace, not chaos. Peace lingers. Peace leaves an imprint. They also began to question their old patterns, patterns of avoiding depth, choosing what feels easy instead of what feels real, walking away from anything that requires consistency or emotional presence. You did not fit into those old habits, and that is exactly why you stayed with them in a different way. They realized their hesitation was not about you. It was about themselves, about whether they were ready to show up fully, about whether they could protect something meaningful instead of approaching it casually, about whether they could handle vulnerability without running. These realizations did not make them colder. They made them slower and more thoughtful. They reflected on how you respected their space without disconnecting emotionally, how you cared without demanding certainty, how you remained kind even when things were unclear. Those qualities stayed with them and reshaped how they view connection. They admitted to themselves that they once confused peace with a lack of passion. They were used to intensity, emotional highs and lows, confusion that feels exciting. Now they see that peace is often deeper than intensity. Peace allows love to grow without fear. After knowing you, interactions with others felt different. Not because those people lacked value, but because the standard inside them shifted. Once someone experiences depth, surface level connections no longer satisfy the soul. This is not about comparison. It is about resonance. You resonated with who they are becoming, not who they used to be. They also recognized that fear delayed them before. Fear of vulnerability, fear of commitment, fear of being fully seen. Your presence made them want to face those fears, even if slowly. They began thinking seriously about consistency, honesty, and responsibility. These were not fantasies. They were grounded reflections that shows growth. They also respect your strength. They sense you value yourself. They sense you are not someone who waits endlessly or accepts crumbs. That understanding made them more careful, not careless. You are not an option to be tested. You are a connection to be honored. Deep inside, they know this. They are learning that meaningful bonds require presence, not perfection. That timing matters, but courage matters too. That peace is not something to run from. Do not let uncertainty pull you into doubt. Do not let silence make you question your worth. Real things do not lose value in quiet moments. They deepen. Stay aligned with who you are. Stay open, but protect your heart. Stay hopeful, but grounded. What is growing beneath the surface will rise when it is ready.